Hello everyone and welcome to Riff to Riff, the new series where Uncle Simon and Nephew Ben will go pretty much through the entirety of Iron Maiden's catalogue, track by track, digging deep with me as someone who was there and has loved them for a very long time, and Ben as someone who can actually play much of this stuff. And we'll try and give you some insight about what's going on musically, what was going on culturally and socially at the time, all with one aim in mind, which is to make sure you just grow in your appreciation for classic rock and in particular Iron Maiden.
Excellent. That was really good. That was an excellent summary. I'm really excited. I think last week, talking about the Trooper, we really got into the semantics of the gallop and some of those core bits of Iron Maiden lore that I came to know from the beginning, right? I that was already established as what is Iron Maiden to me. Whereas this time, I'm hoping at least that we get to see sort of all of these themes coming together. I think, a lot of first records are really cool because they're not pulled tight, they're not seamless yet, right? So we're going to hear all of these elements of like, how did Iron Maiden come to be Iron Maiden when we get to Number of the Beast?
Right, exactly. And what's really important about this first track we're going to listen to, which is the first track from the first album, Iron Maiden in 1980, and the track's called Prowler, and actually that was one of the 3 songs on the original Soundhouse Tapes, this demo effectively that the band made, that went absolutely crazy and underwrote this emerging scene of which they were the pioneers. So we're gonna try and transport you back to that moment where you're gonna first hear this first Iron Maiden track as a fan if you hadn't heard the Soundhouse Tapes. We're going to start off with acknowledging that we are not going to delve into Prowler for its lyrical sensibilities. This is not a moment of the band at the height of their maturity. So we're going to sort of skip the lyrics and focus on the music and the context. Are you set?
I think that's a wise thing. I must admit that I did have a quick look on Reddit what is this song about? And Reddit is not a place to be when discussing this subject content. And I think we do. Yeah, I guess I want to know at some point what drew the lyric writing to this point, because it's very different from the rest of Iron Maiden's sort of lyrical content. But yeah, as you said, we're here to talk about the music. And then some of the cultural history elements of it. I'm sure we'll understand the lineage of it. But it's always really hard to take these things out of context, right? You can talk about, you could write off Iron Maiden because of these lyrics. But it's very easy to do so looking, what we now 40 years back at the 80s, right? It's a very, very different scene to what it is now. So it just wouldn't have been as out of place then as it is now.
Let's get to the music. Are you set?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just right, so obviously 1,000 times for me. What do you get from that?
The wah opening an Iron Maiden album with a wah pedal, like a crying wow 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 wow. They do. I mean, so Dave Murray uses wah quite often in the later stuff that I'm being more familiar with, but it's definitely not as pronounced as that. He's often using it as like a filter thing to create a certain tone. It's not moving, but that's really, I can't tell who's playing that. who's playing that riff and who's playing the rhythm there, but it's really pronounced. Wow, wow, wow. That was the first thing that came to me.
I think Dennis Stratton's playing the original guitarist is playing the rhythm, and Dave Murray is playing that lead part. So there's two things that strike me about it. One is just, and this is a track that begs to be played loud. It's just bursting with energy. You feel their youth, you feel their passion, and you can imagine what it'd been like watching them in one of those early gigs where it's just bang, and this big riff, and it's like it's one chord. Like there's just none of that ornateness you're going to see later, even on this album. It's one chord played with a really infectious rhythm,
and it's a really bold intro, right? They've got, I mean, so part of the Iron Maiden characteristics that we do recognise and are already there are those really like bass and drums da-dum, together, already working as a unit from like the get-go, which is I mean, typical Iron Maiden, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to do in the notes below. I think the little riff over the rhythm part is a kind of classic rock and metal staple. I can think of at least 4 songs, some of them contemporaneous, so some of them at the same time, which have got exactly that little motif.
Right.
And I'll drop those in the notes below, and hopefully everyone else can find more of them. And that's not to say that Maiden or anyone else is plagiarists. I think this is just part of the language of rock. So
to me, it's singing Deep Purple, like Ritchie Blackmore vibes.
Well, of course, one of Dave Murray's heroes.
Right, there you go.
But
it's Burn.
It's also Steve's band, right? There's the bass is not fading into the shadows. The bass is front and center, and
totally.
Really important you listen to this in stereo, because because this is an early recording, relatively unsophisticated, that separation of the 2 guitar tracks is really extreme and powerful as a result, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's just stop there. What do you make of that whole rhythm change there?
It's totally it's like a mix between Highway Star and Burn, with those bam 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 and the I'm kind of getting that from that kind of thing going on. The drivingness of it is like it feels so raw compared to what we know where Iron Maiden get to.
Right.
But it's really like, I think the lineage is quite clear. You can tell it's the same band. You can tell it's just a bit more of they're earlier in discovering where they sit within this whole thing, and their influences are laying bare a bit more obviously.
Yeah, what do you make of that whole time change though? Because it always strikes me as this was one of the things that set them apart there. So you get this big riff, and it's very punky.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about punk and the culture around this, but it's got that raw punk energy.
Yeah.
They're not a punk band. I don't know if they ever were a punk band, but it's got that raw punk energy. And then you get this totally progressive rock time change.
Did it get? I can't say that I noticed the change, actually, Uncle Simon.
Does it not change?
I think maybe it went over my head. I mean, also, I could be wrong, because Iron Maiden are notorious for time changes, right? And changes of feel and meter and all of those kind of things. Should we just run it back and listen to
I've just gone back and let's see if I've got the right place. Does that not mix it up a bit?
I think the energy definitely changes, but the meter and the tempo and the rhythm all remain the same.
But the actual rhythm is changing, even if the beat's the same, right?
Totally. What we noticed from one bit to the next there was the fact that it's hard to articulate it, but it felt that, like, for a moment that, like, Nico's sitting back on the beat, and
Well,
then changed chords.
that would be because
because
Nico,
it's not Nico, is
Nico.
it?
It's
Who is
Clive
it?
Burr. It's Clive Burr.
It's Clive Burr. It's Clive Burr. When did Clive Burr go? Was it after this album, before Killers?
No, Clive Burr's first 3 albums.
So Number of the Beast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Nico's first album makes that Power Slave.
Peace of Mind.
Peace of Mind.
Don't worry. No, he'll get there eventually.
We're getting there.
I think I love them both. I think from my perspective, and I'm not a drummer, Clive's just a little tighter, little less.
Okay.
Just a little more.
Why did Clive
snappier. Go? Oh well, why do we all go? Musical differences. Let's say musical differences, which is proxy for drink and drugs.
Okay, excellent. Excellent, great. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Oh, in which case, then I think Clive sits ahead of it a little bit more. He's pushing it in that going into that second section. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what happens.
Hey, what do you say, girl? Can't you believe that feeling? Can't you believe it? Can't you believe your eyes? It's a real thing, girl. Got me feeling myself and reeling around.
Wow. Okay, cool. So there, there's a complete change of energy, right? Because we've got that the stabs, as it were, those big long sustained chords. The tempo stays the same throughout.
Okay,
but because we've got those stops, we're at the big throughout that verse there. We're feeling it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like really, really driving.
But I don't think that's necessarily like an innate level. I'm not sure the audience is feeling that. I think the audience is feeling this because the rhythm of the guitars and the way the track's been driving, the audience is sort of playing out those parts.
Yeah, definitely. I see what you mean. Yeah, of course.
And we should note here that Paul Di'Anno's just really brusque, right front and center delivery, I think matches the energy of the track really well. I'm not sure they'd have become the explosive energy force with Bruce as their singer if they'd started with him.
Yeah, totally. Well, Bruce is like a much more like longer lamenting operatic style, whereas it's clear here Paul Di'Anno is punkier, right? This is just the whole it's like there's some lads from London who want to play punk music, but they've listened to loads of Deep Purple, and
Genesis, and the whole smorgasbord of what rock looked like at the time. But what they combine it with is that energy. It's quite ferocious, I think, when you.
Totally.
Every bit of this is ferocious, which is why for me the drums have to be tight. Because they're the bit that contains it.
I'm putting this in context of timing. This is 1980, so this is before all of those big rock bands that I come to know as like metal and rock, which the 80s really defined, right? What big rock stuff, as in actual rock music, have we had before Iron Maiden here?
Purple, Zeppelin, Sabbath.
Right. Okay. So Black Sabbath.
And if you think about it, this is 80, so I think Highway to Hell. So I think AC/DC's first album that really is 79. Okay. So this is not isolated from what's happening in rock music. UFO, huge influence on Maiden. Thin Lizzy, But in that mid to late 70s, it had all become a bit bloated, and punk is something of a reaction to that bloated rock.
Totally.
And so, but punk's like 75 to 77, realistically.
Right. And it's all of those bands that you're mentioning there. In my head, none of them sound like massive rock to me. It's funny because some of the bands, like you mentioned Zeppelin there, they've kind of flown over my head so far. Obviously I know all the big tunes and I've had to play them for various gigs and bits and bobs, but always in my head it's a funny one because I haven't listened that much to Led Zeppelin. I just assumed big rock band, right? You go rock band, they sit there in the same space as all of these other bands that Uncle Simon has shown me. I listened to Led Zeppelin 4 the other day in its entirety. I fucking loved it. It was really, really good. It's really folky.
Well, I think that folkiness of British metal, and by the way, Judas Priest should have included in the mix, obviously. I think that folkiness is going to become a recurring theme that we talk about with Maiden. Their
Totally.
inherent Englishness. Right, should we dive back in?
Yeah, let's go.
Got me talking, but feel like walking around.
Okay. So what was really, really funny there, I promise you I haven't heard this tune before. I knew when that crash was coming because you come to know the Iron Maiden formula, and they've already got that on track 1, their first track. When there was a time change, so that was a time change because we were going like da 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 da, and then suddenly they're going like da 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 da. So like, it's a different tempo. It's I haven't quite worked out if it's in 4 or not yet, so it might be a different time signature.
They're constantly defying expectations. They start out with this really aggressive riff with this nice little melody over it, and you think, oh, we're going to do all that again because that's what normal song structure would do. And what they do is they already are deconstructing it. So it's broadly the same notes played in a slightly different pattern, but completely stripped down in order to build you back up again. They're really good at that. They give, take, unstitch, stitch back together. It's really
totally.
So do you want to just go back and have that surprise again?
Yeah, can we go from that start of that section, please?
Yeah, let me try and find it. Don't worry, everyone, we're going to do the solo.
Yeah, we need to do it. I have too much at one go. Right, I mean, that's mental. That is such a bold exposition of like, this is who we are. We do mad shit. Okay, right. So I mean, listening to that, I can hear how Phantom of the Opera is on the same album. It is on the same album, right?
It is. There's a few tracks on this album where we're going to say, oh, we can. I can hear that track in the other tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is their first album, so those themes are going to recur, I think.
And Iron Maiden is on Iron Maiden.
It is indeed.
Which is a funny one because that, like, again, it's already halfway through the first track, sitting in context much more. Because when you go and see Iron Maiden play, and then they play all of this, like, long progressive metal, and then you get this fucking weird song at the end called Iron Maiden that like they have to play because it's called Iron Maiden, and Iron Maiden's gonna get you. We know why we do that, but it doesn't really make sense. They've left a lot of that behind, right? But now you hear it, right? So I often say, like, and I wasn't lucky enough to be there at this moment. Just imagine being right at the front of the stage in a small, sweaty venue where they're playing this. I mean, it's to coin the phrase, limbs, right? This is just, it's just crazy. And so listen, we'll go back and I'll try and find that bit again, and then we'll lead it into the solo. One more question, just because like the time changes and the meter changes here are really obvious and, dare I say, a bit clunky. I think that's fair enough. We know I'm allowed to say that because we know where they're going and we know how much I love them and things like that. They're a little bit clunky, and there's a similar thing. Is it in the song Iron Maiden where it goes ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba? No, that's Hallowed Be Thy Name. I'm getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll have to listen to Iron Maiden in another video and do that bit. Because, okay, continue. It's just really entertaining, isn't it, to hear it? Because like to know what they become and to hear the real inception of this whole concept it's really interesting to hear. That was messy and punky, but what it didn't lack was soul and energy and passion.
You mean it was technically messy?
It was, yeah, technically messy, and it was also, we've already vowed not to get too much into the Iron Maiden used the Lydian mode and all of that rubbish, but they're not using anything there. It's quite pentatonic-y, and it's quite like, I'm going to bend up to this note until it makes sense, and that kind of thing. It's much more about like energy, power, play my guitar, rather than going like.
But I still feel it's got a certain degree of technical competence attached to it. Like, this is not basic
for
stuff.
sure. No. I didn't mean that at all. It just feels. If it's like a magician brandishing their newfound powers, rather than like an experienced person like laying down, this is how it goes.
No, but I think that's part of its joy. Well, it's because it's just not fake in any way. It's completely authentic. This is the energy.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that whole build up in being in the crowd is just awesome. Let's keep going.
Nothing's with me. Got me feeling myself and feeling
around. Of course. It's like they've got the process here already. They've got the formula right, and they know, and that's quite bold actually. So what's changing a lot here from the later records is like the sounds and the guitar soloing and the lyrical content and things like that. But actually, the Iron Maiden formula they've clearly had from day one. Where do you think that comes from?
I think Steve loves music, so I think the first thing is I think he listens to a lot of everything.
Yeah.
But I think he's a special one. I think there are some people in all walks of life, but particularly in the arts, who just are sort of inhabited by something which is a bit otherworldly.
Yeah.
And he knows what he wants to do, and he can hear it in his head, and he's just going to make it's his band. It's going to happen this way, and then he surrounds himself with people who help him do that. And so I think he just. I mean, it's just, when I listen to this again, and I just don't think I know of anything else that's remotely like this. This is more not like other stuff than their later stuff is.
Yeah, totally.
Right, let's see what they do, because there's quite a lot of song left.
With it
So we've gone back to just being like this rocky song, right?
Yeah, totally. It strikes me odd that the solos are so early.
Yeah.
It's like they couldn't really resist.
I think it's about them having this sense of what the audience, like this young audience, finding this new, the whole new wave of British heavy metal,
Yeah,
this new exciting music that spoke to them, and that I think they're kind of tapping into that energy.
yeah, totally.
This was no longer sit back with a spliff and watch a long guitar solo in the middle of a song.
Yeah, no, this isn't a
this
Stairway to Heaven, is it? This is
Nah.
energy. This is, yeah, totally.
This is right in it.
Got me talking, but feel like walking
Wow, it's just it's the parallels between that and their later stuff, like that. So that's a quintessential big Iron Maiden ending, or big rock ending, right? It's like and it just instantly reminded me of the third track on Satellite 15, El Dorado, where they start with a and it's the same thing, but it's just because actually the power of a rock or a metal band doing that together is just one of the most beautiful, lovely things, right? When everyone just hits it together, and like, be it on a record or live, you get that wall of sound, and it's emotional, and it's really powerful. And again, it's just another example here of how they fucking got it. They know what they're doing already. It's really,
it's like this. Look, a lot of the stuff I think that I love in classic rock is this. Somehow the energy's contained, but not diminished by the containment. It's actually enhanced by the containment.
for sure.
And like, if you've been to see this band and you love this song, you don't want the record to have some ending. You don't fade out. You want the ending that you get live. That's part of the,
totally.
That's part of the contract between the band and the fans. It's going to be like it's going to be. And this is, I'm guessing this is pretty close to a live recording. I don't imagine there were loads of overdubs here. And
maybe a bit on the vocals. I wasn't listening too much. But it sounds like, and I think I love about all of these old records, you can hear the room. You can hear the room that they recorded it in. You can hear how loud they're playing because you can hear so much of the room. I think
it's really interesting from Dave's point of view, though, and that solo sound is that there's already a sense of what his tone is.
Yeah.
Like, what he sounds like, what his guitar and his amps and his fingers uniquely sound like.
Well, that was I was going to say, and I think I'll be able to get better at this the longer we do this, is identifying when it's Dave or not. But that sounded like Dave to me, and it definitely is. Is that right?
I'm not. I'm pretty certain the lick at the beginning is Dave. I think. We'll check that out. No doubt someone listening will be able to tell us and correct us if we're wrong.
Surely one of our KPIs here is that at some point Fender give us the Dave Murray guitar to for me to try. Please, that would be, because there's a number of strats here, but this isn't a Dave Murray guitar, is it?
No, well, we've got the Adrian Smith Jackson, but he's not even in the band at this stage, so that'll be something to look forward to. Okay, so give us a summary. That is Prowler, the first track on Iron Maiden, and you've never heard it before. And what's your key takeaway?
So the key takeaway is that they know who they are. I think that's really interesting. It's nice to hear a band's first track, and maybe they didn't write this one first, of course, but it's clear that they know who they are and that they're really, really young. Let's just say I'm happy that they moved away from this kind of lyrical content, because it's weird.
It is.
Like, it's just strange. But in terms of, like, the guitar parts are really fun. We're already getting a little bit of that, like, hey diddly stuff that we get, which is, again, it's British, it's folk, it's full of identity, it's full of passion and energy, and it's cheeky, it's cute. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to call an Iron Maiden song cute, but that's what I think it is.
I think that's a legitimate way to end. Well, I love it. I love the way it starts an album. It just grabs you by the throat and take you along. And I'm a little worried now that whatever bit is we decide we're going to play in a second and then put at the front of the record is going to be a little tricky for me. But anyway, thank you for joining us. We will be back soon with more Iron Maiden. Keep rocking.